Welcome to episode 3 of Take 47 podcast. Today we'll be covering a wide variety of topics, all the way from the Blue Origin space flight to the Supreme Court of the US going to hear the Trump case to end birthright citizenship. Starting off with the Blue Origin space flight, including some celebrities and other influencers or famous people. Essentially it was just like a 3-minute trip to space and back, but it has raised tons of concerns. People saying that it's fake and that the landing and liftoff were AI generated, which I can sort of get. I've seen a few videos. You can see them yourself if you just do some light surface research. And a few incidents with the door of the capsule and a few photos that seem to show some pretty stiff hands, not very human-like hands, but it is the 11th space flight from Blue Origin, but I honestly don't know why they would fake it. Some do have speculations, but I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really know. I also kind of don't care. It's whatever Jeff Bezos I'm trusting. I'm going to trust Jeff Bezos that he's not trying to compete with Elon, who has a pretty credible score of SpaceX and space travel. But, I mean, yeah. Let me know down below how you feel about this situation. And while you're commenting, hit the like and subscribe button. Another update on the Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf story. Austin Metcalf's dad, I believe his name is Jeff Metcalf, and he went to a press conference hosted by the Anthony family, and Karmelo Anthony's representative, well, the family's representative, who has a criminal history of domestic abuse and also hurting children, not just women, but also children. He refused to start the press conference until Austin Metcalf's dad was kicked out because, and I quote, "it was disrespectful and it dishonored Austin Metcalf." How does that even make sense? Also, it's quite surprising that he got kicked out for doing nothing. That could have possibly even violated his First Amendment right to assemble peacefully. He wasn't even protesting. He was just there to see the press conference. He was doing nothing wrong. Not only did he get kicked out of the press conference, but a few hours later, his home was swatted. Swatting is when somebody makes police calls on your home and the police later breaks into your home. Not just, two officers come knocking at your door, but, they literally break into your home, and some may even use deadly force. Depends, what the calls are. But yeah, they swatted his home, broke into his house, and he arrived about 5 to 10 minutes later to his swatted home. Honestly, I don't know how the state of Texas, or really any other state, doesn't have laws against swatting and fake police calls. I'm not condoning, kids calling 911 for fake emergencies, although that is wrong. But they obviously won't be getting any jail time or, any actual punishment because they're kids. But people that, make these swatting calls should honestly just get a fine, a pretty big fine. They should also pay for any damages that were caused to the property and pay for maybe even therapy if, I don't know. But a big difference from Austin Metcalf's dad and Karmelo Anthony is that he was simply asked to leave, and once he did leave, he didn't stab anybody in the heart and left peacefully and complied with the police, which shows the difference between the character of these two people and how they were raised and how Austin Metcalf was raised. Gas prices in the U.S. have actually dropped quite a bit. In at least 3 states, they hit $1.98, which is not bad. And we haven't seen these numbers since about 2020, since the pandemic and Trump's, the later end of Trump's term, which is great and it's a good sign. Trump's doing well. He hit the ground running in his first 3 months in office. And another thing that he's also hitting currently is the Russia-Ukraine war, which he is trying to settle. Although Marco Rubio, after landing from a trip, I believe, to France, said that if Russia or Ukraine don't show any signs of cooperation or don't move towards peace in any way, the U.S. will just walk away from negotiations. And I believe in the swearing of Dr. Oz, the guy in charge of Medicaid, Trump also actually agreed with Marco Rubio. They both agreed on giving Russia and Ukraine only days, not weeks or months, days. And surprisingly, even I'm surprised by this, Russia actually chose to comply by asking Ukraine for pretty much a 30-hour ceasefire once it was announced by President Putin for Easter. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's just Easter because, we had Easter in 2024 and 2023, and I believe also 2022. So it's not like it's just, a special Easter, maybe because Trump's president. And Putin knows that Trump's patience is just wearing thin, and he's going to walk away from it, and he's not going to help Putin just end the war, because we know that France and the United Kingdom are countries that are just, thirsty for war. They can't wait to try out new weapons and kill more Russian people. But if we're going to try and avoid World War III, we should honestly start to cooperate more with Russia, which I think is something that Trump is trying to do, considering that he didn't actually put any tariffs on Liberation Day. He didn't impose any tariffs on Russia or North Korea. But I mean, if he's, trying to make Russia a little bit special by not hitting them with tariffs, which I guess is fine, considering they also have sanctions already. It's great because we get to, it's easier for us to negotiate and cooperate with Russia, considering, we're not exactly friends with them, right? We're, if World War III does break out, it's either going to be between the U.S. and China or the U.S. and Russia. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni came to the White House to talk with Trump on tariffs and a few other issues. Nothing really remarkable from the press conference, as usual, which I'm kind of annoyed by. But it's mostly because reporters just ask questions about, Russia, Ukraine, the tariffs, the economy. They don't actually ask questions to the guests, whether it may be a president or a prime minister or whatever, chancellor. But yeah, that kind of annoys me. I always watch the interviews hoping to see more from the guest of the interview, but we never actually get to hear anything. Probably the guest that has probably been the most involved in one of the press conferences that Trump has held for with another country was probably Nayib Bukele, and he was asked 2 questions, and Trump had to kind of deflect them onto Bukele because nobody actually would ask him a question other than one reporter. Hey, welcome back. So my camera died on me, so sorry if the audio quality is different, and well, I'll just have some pictures on screen because now it's just too late to record. The lighting would be terrible. But yeah, so I told you guys I was going to have more info on the Pete Hegseth advisors that were put on leave, but nothing, literally nothing has come out, and I had to dig for 30 minutes to find something, but I didn't find anything. So, and yeah, other than that, the Supreme Court is set to review the Supreme Court is set to review Trump's argument, his case against birthright citizenship, which was initially created for slaves back in like the 1800s, because they weren't even, they weren't even citizens. And it was created for them because once they had their children here, they became citizens after that law. But it wasn't created for for what it's currently being used as, like anchor babies. When an immigrant family comes over here, has a baby here, because I don't know, maybe like they have 9 months. She has 9 months, comes over here and gives birth, and she has to stay here because the baby is a citizen of the U.S., so she can't really go back. But yeah, we'd have to see what the Supreme Court would rule on that. My prediction is that they won't side with Trump, but we'll have to see. It really depends. But yeah, I can't really guarantee anything. But yeah, anyway, if you like the video, subscribe, share to anybody that might be interested in politics. And sorry for the delay on these few videos. I've been experimenting with the microphone and the camera and recording settings and all that. So I've had a few issues uploading and getting them on YouTube and all that. But yeah, probably next video on Monday. I might post a short tomorrow, but I can't guarantee anything. So yeah, God bless you, and see you Monday.